Hello, and welcome back to AdvancingMentalHealth.org's video channel. I'm Jeff Baker. This video is on what we like to call psychiatry's moment of truth. It's a moment that happens in slightly different ways, thousands of times a day during psychiatric sessions all over the world. The video has two parts. The first is a 7-minute enactment, which has two players, myself playing a psychiatrist and someone playing my patient. Although it's a serious topic, we did manage to throw in a little bit of humor. The second part is a short commentary on the enactment that'll take up a critical issue psychiatry is facing today, something that could clearly enable psychiatry to start shifting toward a model of care that could actually produce better outcomes. We'll also talk about the challenges we face bringing that about. The whole video is about 11 minutes long. I'll be right back after the enactment. Enjoy. Hi, Jeannie. Good to meet you. Come on back. Okay, so Jeannie, what brings you in today?
Well, I have been feeling depressed for the last couple of months, and the last couple of weeks especially have been worse, and so I'm really here to explore with you what might be going on with me.
Okay. Overall, how would you describe your feeling?
That I'm not excited about life, and I want to stay in my cave, so to speak, and I'm really not wanting to engage with people, and that's not me, and I'm really concerned about it.
Mm-hmm. Has your interest level changed at all in your normal
Well,
activities?
yeah, I have to force myself to get up in the morning and do the things I do to go to work.
And how's concentration at work?
Not as much as it was. It's hard for me to concentrate, and I have to rein my brain in to concentrate on what I'm doing.
Appetite? How are you doing with food? Do you feel like eating? Are you overeating or not eating as much?
I'm not eating as much.
How about sleep?
Sleeping is hard. Like I say, I've been getting up too late.
How bad does it ever get? Do you ever have the feeling like maybe you'd be better off dead?
No, I haven't gotten to that point yet.
Okay.
That's
All
why
right.
I'm here. I don't want to get to that point.
I see.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So, doctor, why am I feeling this way? What is causing this depression?
I wonder if I should tell the truth. The truth is, depression can have many underlying causes. For one, almost every disease you can possibly get can cause depression. Many different medical conditions, including everything from dental problems, sleep difficulties, chronic pain, and many others, can also cause depression. Allergies to food or things in your environment, as well as all sorts of nutritional issues, can be the cause, as well as different drug reactions or exposure to toxins. And obviously, feelings of depression can also be caused by many different life situations, like losses, abuse, stress, emotional trauma. So you can see there are many possible underlying causes that can be making you feel depressed. The process of trying to identify what's causing your depression is simple. Our first step is to get you over to the lab and do some blood work and see if anything shows up there. I'm going to set you up with a nutritionist to look at your diet, and I'll also do some allergy testing with you. In addition, you and I will schedule another appointment and take an in-depth look at what's going on in your life that could be causing your feelings of depression. After we see what's going on, if it turns out your depression is from anything physical, like a disease or some sort of medical condition, we'll take the necessary steps to correct the problem. If it's from a life situation, you and I can start working together toward resolving it and relieving your depression. If we can't find any particular cause of your depression, the good news is that most depression is episodic and in time goes away by itself. In the meantime, there are many natural ways to ease depression, including exercise, diet changes, massage, acupuncture, and there are a number of natural herbs that can also be helpful. Most of the time, we can locate a cause and relieve or eliminate your depression. If we can't, we can consider other options like medication, but at this point, that would be down the road. I'm fairly confident that one way or another, we'll get your depression handled just fine. You should tell her the truth. That's really the best chance you have of really helping her. What? Are you kidding? You'll go broke taking that approach. You're a psychiatrist. Your job is diagnosing and writing prescriptions. What are you going to do? Dust off your couch and start talking to people again? If you do that, you could only see one person an hour instead of 2 or 3. You'll have to take your kids out of private school and sell your vacation home. Is that what you want? What you have is onset of major depressive disorder. It's caused by a chemical imbalance in your brain. What happens is that your brain doesn't produce enough of a chemical called serotonin. This is a very common disease, and the treatments that we have for this are really very, very effective. The medication, once you start taking it, corrects that deficit and normalizes the function of your brain. And as long as you take the medication, you're fine. You go on, you live a completely normal life. And it's very much like insulin is for diabetes. Now, not every moment of truth turns out like the one we just watched. Some psychiatrists do take a more broad-based approach. However, it's safe to say that currently, as of February 2017, most psychiatric sessions end like the one we just saw. You see, it's important to know that right now, all over the world, there's a rising tide of people, many of whom are in mainstream psychiatry, that are questioning and casting doubt on the validity of psychiatry's current medical model of care. A model that theorizes that mental disorders are biological brain diseases and need to be treated with psychiatric medications. Statistics show that under this model, mental illness keeps growing and getting worse. Over the last 20 years, spending on mental health services in the US alone went from $74 billion in 1997 to currently over $200 billion a year. That's more money than is spent on either heart disease or cancer, our number 1 and number 2 causes of death. Over the last 30 years in the US, there's been over a 400% increase in the number of people on government disability due to mental illness. If a model of care is working, the expectation is that we should be gaining on the problem. That's clearly not the case. Also in recent years, it's been shown that generally, better outcomes have been produced using psychosocial and other forms of therapy as well as some natural approaches. Now that, combined with the rapidly mounting evidence that psychiatric medications can actually make symptoms worse over the long term, calls for a rethinking of the current psychiatric approach to treatment. Now, what I'm about to say is important. The biggest obstacle in shifting to a psychiatric model that could produce better outcomes is primarily financial. If the $200 billion a year spent on mental health services in the U.S. became $100 billion because of a better model and better outcomes leading to less mental illness, you can imagine the financial upheaval in the psychiatric and pharmaceutical industries. And yet, here we are. Something to think about. And something we here at AdvancingMentalHealth.org will continue to talk about. Thanks for watching.